start. Okay, so first of all, good morning once again to everyone. And I think the whole reminder, we are very intentional about health. I'm a health freak in general. And so this year so we did a lot during COVID. There were so many things that we did for health, taking care of people. A lot of people came together as volunteers and they did so much, from coffee sessions in the morning to dance sessions to Simi sessions and then it slowed down a little bit. And then I'm like, how to kind of have that continuous transformation in our ITBD community in terms of health. And this was a reminder. 2 weeks ago when I was in India, our India team printed these t-shirts. And this is my favorite now. So I keep it here as a reminder. And I'm like, this is great. We need, as the ITBD community, we need to be intentional about our life. Life by design, not by default. And because if you live life by design, that means whatever your personal, professional vision of success is, at least things that are in your controllables, you're doing those things and you know where you're going. You're kind of really, staying on track. At least if you're off track, you know what on track looks like. So that was a reminder. And I promised Steve that when I go back, now that we're done with the career plan, so for us, the next step will be health plan. So the way I see it, life by design, so there will be 4 plans. We're going to support all ITBD team members with 4 plans: career plan, health plan, then we're going to have family plan, and we're going to have legacy plan. So that will be the overall life plan. We have a framework. We will be helping people, supporting people with the resources that they need to achieve their life by design. And it will be more of just supporting them with education, with tools, with trainings, so that they're empowered, they get the support that they need to live a good life. Because that is what ITBD culture is all about. It's not just limited to job. We want to take it beyond just this at work experience, that overall human experience. How can we all as human beings unleash our full potential? By being intentional and by living life by design. And so that is the whole little bit of context. And I'm like, so my overall personality trait is quick start. When I think about something, I just jump into it. And so I'm like, I was just reading about this about a week ago, that May is a mental health awareness month. And so I'm like, team, we want to start this. Why don't we start health with mental health aspect in the month of May? And it's a nice kind of progression towards physical health next month, because next month is International Yoga Month. And so there can be a lot of other things that we can do related to health. So that's where we are. And I'm so pleased to have someone on this call who has been part of ITBD community when we talk about a community of some of our strategic partners. So our health related expert is Simi, and she's joining us today. So Simi, Simi, I still have my first cup of coffee. Simi, welcome to the call. Thank you for being that true partner for us, our health partner for ITBD community, and welcome to the show today.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to connect with you all, to reconnect with you all. I have seen most of the faces in the last year and also in 2020. And it's always a pleasure and a great feeling of pride to be talking about some of the most important elements of our life, and especially with this community, because with ITBD, one of the things that I always felt was everybody was participating, everybody was interacting with the aspects of personal growth and personal development. So I'm super excited to be here, and thank you for this opportunity, Sunny.
And you know what, one thing that, so we have a lot of gratitude for you because during those scary times in 2020, you came to ITBD and you connected with us almost every week. And you kept us positive, you kept us going from our health perspective during those scary times. So you have a lot of contributions to the well-being of this community. And so, so one thing that I want to mention, why behind this? Because, the overall, a lot of businesses, their purpose, their vision, everyone have their own. Some businesses just have those values on the website. But what IT by design is, where we are very different is our purpose. So anyone knows our purpose, like what IT by design's purpose is, because it is beyond just numbers and business. Anyone? Our purpose.
Creating healthy and happy community.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Andy. So to build a happy and healthy community of peers, partners, colleagues, that is our purpose, right? So if you can live that purpose, and the way we live that purpose is using our core values with the acronym HAPPY, and those are humility, accountability, positivity, passion, and your community. What a wonderful way to build a business, build a community where we all have careers, but along with that career, our purpose as a tribe is bigger, being there for each other in terms of health for each other, family and legacy. So that is really a good foundation that we have. And because of our purpose, and the vision now is working on health by design plans, our health plans, so that we can have our career plans. We started in the month of January when I was in India. Now health plans, then we're going to start in the next quarter, family planning, family plan related. I think it's, so what I mean by this is that you overall, how important family is to live a good life. And then having an overall legacy that we can all leave something behind us. So that is the overall foundation, that is the overall vision. And now, before I take too much time from the core topic today, so Simi, can we start with kind of overall defining what is mental health and why it is important to live a good life?
Of course. Once again, guys, very warm welcome. If some of you do not know me, I'd still like to formally introduce myself. My name is Simi Arora. I am based out of New York. And for the last 3.5 years, I've been coaching executives, leaders, corporation institutions, and have been speaking on multiple different platforms about mental health awareness, along with productivity, positivity, motivation. I am very shortly about to launch my first book by the end of this year, which is going to be around anxiety to purpose. And why this is an important topic for me personally is because I have gone through severe mental health issue. And it is still very much a part of my life, because mental health issues are something that we have to deal with, just like physical health issues, right? If you have a sensitivity of stomach, if you have a sensitivity of brain, if you have a sensitivity of any particular type of food, what's going to happen is that you have to always maintain a certain type of lifestyle. You have to always be very cautious and careful. Now, back in 2013, when I had my first panic attack, I wasn't aware that it was a panic attack. I wasn't aware that I actually have a situation, a diagnosis called anxiety disorder. And when you are not aware that you have a particular mental health issue, you get very confused because there's not a very specific education around it. And especially I grew up in India, and over there, not many people talked about it. It's still very much of a taboo. So my journey of finding the way to manage it, to find solid ways of recovery, and being able to maintain a certain type of mental health, and obviously finding my own vision and purpose around it so that I can help other people. So that's where I'm coming from. So this topic is very close to my heart. One, because it's a personal story and it's a very dramatic one. I'm not going to go there because it's quite dark. I had been suicidal. I had feelings of hopeless and dread and depression. And from that place, come into a place to be able to speak to thousands of people every month and make a difference. So, possibilities are unlimited for all of us, right? So what is mental health is our...
Before you get into that, Simi, I want to add to that a little bit. I kind of did not realize that a lot of new people are there on the call as well. That Simi now is a world-class expert, and so the story that she just shared, not only that you are going through this, but you're going through this in a new country. So when she moved to America, based on relationship, and then you start going through this, and you are going through this in that's a very lonely journey in a new country where you don't know too many people. So from that place to where she is now is possible. So she created new possibilities for herself, and look where she is today, and being that independent women leader, writing books, being that expert, and now invited on international stages. And next month, she is going to the international stage as a speaker in Canada for International Yoga Conference. So just look at the new possibilities when you can live your life by design, not live life by default. So thank you, Simi. And now we can get into what is mental health.
Thank you so much for encouraging. So it is basically very simple. It's our mental, our psychological, and social well-being. How we manage our stress, how we relate to others, and how we take care of our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Because everything that we're doing out in the world is coming from our thoughts, whether we are aware of it or not. All the actions, even the fact that I want to go up and grab a glass of water, it's coming from a feeling. The feeling is a thirst, originated by your brain signaling the body that you're thirsty. So right now I'm just doing a very simple action, but it's backed up by a particular thought. So mental health is just your ability to manage yourself with your thought, emotions, and actions so that you can have a better experience of life, that you can enjoy your daily life, you can have more motivation, more focus, more comfort, more grounding, better relationships, and happiness. A state of mind that is a happy state of mind.
Yeah, and that is our core value. So that's a good word that I just heard. Happy state of mind. So it's all about state of mind, right? So happiness and happiness cannot be achieved. It's a journey, right? So it's like a daily work that you have to do on your state of mind. That it's not a destination. So it's like no matter what you achieve, you can always find ways to be unhappy. You can wake up unhappy, no matter how much you have. And people where they don't have anything, they can figure out a way to stay happy as well. So happiness, right? And that is well aligned with that core values that I shared in the beginning, that ITBD community is all about. And so another question. So Shruti, if you can post this question in the chat. What are people doing today for their mental health? And so while people are thinking about their thinking in terms of what are they practicing anything on a day-to-day basis for mental health? So please interact with us through chat if you're doing anything for your mental well-being. And now, Simi, now you can get into your 5 skills that you were discussing, during our kind of conversations earlier. That what are those 5 skills that you would recommend, which can lead to better mental health, better mental well-being?
Absolutely. There are so many skills. I just picked up 5 because we have time limit, right? But there are
Yeah.
small things, there are plenty of things that we can just pay attention to. And even if we can just pay attention to these 5, there's going to be a significant change in the way you feel about yourself, the way you feel in your body, the way you feel about life in general. And these things are very, very simple. But before that, I'm going to ask for the capability to share the screen. And the reason is because there are a few questions that I'm going to pose today. Guys, there's another thing that I want to elaborate here. We haven't figured still, as even the scientific research or the last 30, 40 years of work that has been done on the mental health, about the scope of mental health. It could be very simple, such as chronic stress, or it could be one of the biggest and the hardest mental health issues, such as difficulty in managing your moods. This is called bipolar or schizophrenia, or having hallucinations. So there are some very specific mental health issues that can make a person feel completely paralyzed with their daily activities. But there are some smaller mental health issues, something which can creep up once in a while, such as chronic anxiety issues that are also leading to some physical health issues. For example, if some of you experience digestive issues over and over again, if some of you have migraine or stress headaches, if some of you have heart palpitation or sensitivity before you go into a meeting. So if some of you are experiencing some of these kind of symptoms, just type in yes in the chat box, or just elaborate on that a bit, because being vulnerable, first of all, being accepting that, listen, I mean, I do have anxiety. I don't know what exactly it means, but I do have these sensations in my body before I enter into a meeting. I do have this fear of something going wrong. I do have sleep issues. I'm not able to sleep without taking any sort of substance or sedatives. Listen, acceptance is the only way to find a solution. If you can't accept it, first of all, it is always going to be somewhere in the background, and it's continue to stay where it is. So the moment I realized that I have this mental health disorder called anxiety disorder, I was like, first of all, I need to get to know about this in depth. And secondly, I'm going to just accept it. And I didn't accept it only in front of my family and friends. I accepted it in front of the whole world. Because it's very common for us to have these kind of issues. They're stemming from our childhood, pretty much. If you have had any sort of trauma in your childhood, or you felt unloved, you felt you were not able to express yourself to your family or to your parents, you felt unsafe, there could be some environmental issues, some abusive relationships, some sort of situation that made you felt that life is a difficult place, which exactly happened in my life. Molestation, child abuse, there could be several reasons that are embedded in our subconscious mind. And now in this present moment, they're coming out as the experience of the similar trauma which is stored in the body. So what is anxiety? Anxiety is the trauma that is stored in the body. Now, when this trauma is stored in the body, it could be the trauma of a breakup when you were 15 years old. It could be the trauma of losing a loved ones. It could be the trauma that you don't even subconsciously register, but it's still there. And when each time there's a challenge that creeps up, what happens is that your brain starts to, go back to the past experience where the trauma got stored, and is just relating both of these in the present moment. So Why do I stress out so much more than others? Is because my brain has learned a certain pattern of storing the information and processing the information. My sensitivity to stress is way higher than any other person. I'm super aggressive, I'm super smart, I'm super intelligent, but my body processes stress in an entirely different way than probably Sunny's body. It doesn't mean that I'm less spiritual. It doesn't mean that I'm less smart. It doesn't mean that I don't have the necessary intellect. It's just the way my body processes it. My brain processes it. And all of us have a certain way of processing this information. So this is a very important point. Not only I want to give you the tips, because trust me on that, those tips you can just go into the Google and find out. I might be able to add up 1 or 2 pointers here that are exceptional, that will just hit you hard and you'll be like, tomorrow onwards, I'm going to start applying it. That's the whole point of doing this exercise, this session today. But I also want to give you this confidence that it is okay to have a particular way of processing the information by your subconscious mind. There's nothing wrong if you have sleep issues, if you have anxiety issues, if you have consistent headaches, if you have bloating issues, if you have all 100 million issues. It's perfectly normal, because this is how we learn and evolve and get better. We solve our problems. And each time we solve a problem, what we do is we tell our brain that we are problem solvers. It induces confidence in form of the chemicals, serotonin and endorphins, that gives us a boost. Oh, I was able to solve my anxiety issues. I was able to handle my stress. And this is where our growth lies, right? So I'm just going to go right away into the question. So I think I can share the screen. So just give me 1 second here. Right. Too many things open here. Okay. I apologize. Why is this happening? Okay, let's do this.
If you want, you can unshare first, and then you can share the the slide.
Sure. Can you see the screen, guys? Is it visible?
It's visible.
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So I just want to bring up these 1 or 2 pointers, and then we'll just come back to the screen. Have you felt any of these? Eating or sleeping too little or too much? Having low energy? Feeling unusually confused, on edge or scared? Hearing voices or believing things that are untrue? Inability to perform daily tasks? So these are some of the symptoms. Now, as I said, there could be many more. It could be just feeling nervous before going into a meeting. It could be not having the confidence to communicate with your coworker. It could be feeling like a large amount of fear when you think that you put yourself in a conflict, not able to resolve conflicts, or thinking too much about the conflicts. Like there's an overthinking, racing mind. These are all the symptoms that suggest that somehow we need to take care of our mental health, that something is not okay, that I gotta pay conscious attention to it, right? So I see that a lot of folks are saying yes, yes, yes. Luke said, I can't forgive people or can't get over the past. Okay, David also mentioned sleep in. It's, first of all, thank you so much for being open, because this is very important. Being vulnerable, saying it out loud that, listen, I'm like, I am messed up in a certain way. It's completely normal, because we are all messed up. There is nobody who's an expert of anything.
Yes,
we're all messed up in our own ways.
Yes.
Right? So it's just like in our own way, we're all messed up. And this is what we're trying to figure out together, right? If I'm messed up in a certain way, how am I going to manage it? That's the whole point, right? And because our life is so uncertain and unpredictable, there's always going to be something or the other that's going to hit you hard. It's like, oh, I thought for a second everything is going fine. And here we go, another bomb. Here we go, something else. Here we go, something else, right? And we keep on struggling. So 85% of our life, in fact, a lot more, 90% of our life is all about struggling, is all about solving problems. Okay, so very quickly, I'd also invite you to just type in the chat box, what do you think are your ways of managing anxiety? Or even if you have been aware of the fact that there is something called anxiety, there is something called chronic stress, because now we're talking about a lot of symptoms, right? So if any one of you are practicing a few things, I would love for you to know in the chat box if you can just type in, because I'm just opening the screen again here. And I'll just go over a couple of things that I think are very, very important. Okay. So it is a more common than you think situation. 1 in 5 adults experienced a mental health concern in the past year. Stress, burnout, anger issues, anxiety, depression, and emotional breakdown can be some of the ways mental health gets impacted. So first thing first, movement. A recent study has found that people who exercise report 43.2% less days of poor mental health than those who did not exercise, right? So exercising could be doing yoga, could be doing Pilates, could be walking, and walking in the nature, which is what I call the nature pill, is extremely, extremely impactful, because nature helps us heal. Even if you're living in the urban cities, you can still get out and find a little park, find a little tree, find a place where you can feel connected with life all around you. Right now, what we're doing is we're just connected to our gadgets all around us. But consciously putting effort to get out of the house and connecting with nature is very, very helpful. And if you can hit the gym at least a couple of times in a week, if you can go for a walk, or if you can just have an exercise that you can do at home, you will see that the impact is so much, because it creates a surge of endorphins in the body, lots of dopamine, and it also enhances your brain size. The prefrontal cortex of your brain, which is responsible for creating new neurons, new brain cells, increases as well. So there are tremendous amount of benefits. So movement is number one. Second is saying thank you. The practice of gratitude can increase happiness levels by around 25%. Second, this is not hard to achieve. This is not hard to achieve. A few hours of writing a gratitude journal over 3 weeks can create an effect that lasts 6 months, if not more. So the way I teach my clients to do this practice is to write down 3 things that they are thankful for every day, at the start of the day or at the end of the day. Just take a piece of paper or your journal and write down the 3 things that you're grateful for. And 3 things you're grateful for could be your family, could be your friends, could be a great meal, could be a very positive interaction with your subordinates or with your boss, could be just smiling at a stranger, it could be anything. And now think about this, three things that you're grateful for every day into 365. That becomes more than 1,000 blessings. And do you think that we'll have an excuse for not to be happy if I have more than 1,000 blessings in a year? So this is how we train our brain to find goodness in this moment, even if there are challenges all around us. Third is self-reflection. With self-reflection comes self-awareness. You'll begin to see your thoughts, behaviors, emotions, and reactions in real time as you experience them. You can determine which one bothers you, don't serve you, or harm you, and learn to let them go. Now, there are certain practices that we can apply every day. For example, I love journaling. I have tons of journals that I keep on writing. And sometimes I wonder, when I die, people are going to find out so much about my life. So there's probably going to be a certain way of hiding them. But journaling is one of the things that is super helpful in managing your thoughts and emotions. Praying, meditation for even a couple of minutes a day can make a huge difference. Sitting in silence, contemplating, taking a pause. Wherever you get some time, just take a pause Sit with yourself and ask yourself, how am I doing? What am I feeling right now? What am I feeling right now? Asking yourself this question is going to bring up a lot of emotions. At times, it's a very dark place to be in. And that's okay. That's okay. At least you're recognizing that there is something that you need to take charge of rather than getting doomed by it. Distraction is never the solution, right? So reflecting on your life and asking yourself, what can I do right now to make myself feel better? Fourth is breath work. It taps into the brain body connection and can result in both physical and emotional long and short term benefits. While breathing exercises are originated from yoga, from pranayama, it is a lifesaver, especially for many of the people that I've seen, along with, including myself in my journey. When I was about to have a panic attack or have an anxiety attack, I'll just go sit in my car and do some breath work. And very simple breathing exercise, such as 4, 6, 8. Inhale at the count of 4, hold for 6, and release at the count of 8. So this can just activate your parasympathetic nervous system within a few minutes. 2 minutes, after 2 minutes of doing a deep breathing, a slow breathing, inhaling, holding, exhaling, can activate your parasympathetic nervous system. Now, what is parasympathetic nervous system? Parasympathetic nervous system is the nervous system that helps you rest and digest. Right now, when you're listening to me, what is happening is your sympathetic nervous system is activated, which is about fight and flight, or paying attention, or being alert. Right now, you're alert. But you can't be alert all the time because it's sucking up a lot of energy from you. And then continuous thinking, processing is tiring you up. So what we do throughout the day, 4 times or 3 times a day, sit with yourself for 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and do deep breathing. 4, 6, 8, 4, 6, 8. What will start to happen? Your brain will get used to of taking smaller breaks. Your brain will get used to of activating parasympathetic nervous system on demand. On demand. And that is how you start to take control of how you're feeling. And that is how you also teach your brain and teach your mind that, listen, there is a possibility for me to feel in control, even though there are challenges or situations that are overwhelming me. And last is setting the boundaries. And guys, this is a really big one for me. And as I'm closing the screen and coming right here in front of you guys, I would love for you to type in the chat box, especially for this one. How many of you are aware that you need to make certain boundaries around your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social health? Have you ever consciously created boundaries? Now, what exactly it means? It means saying no to a commitment when you feel it's not serving you, it's not making you happy. In fact, if it is causing you anxiety, you don't want to go to a party, but someone is forcing you and you're feeling obligated. They are crossing a boundary. They're crossing your boundaries. And how do you say no is something that you need to learn. It's something that you need to communicate. Emotional health, physical health, mental health, spiritual health, social health. We have so many different elements of our being that are compromised every day. I damn you that. We are subconsciously compromising on our values. We are subconsciously compromising on our boundaries because we are not even aware what our boundaries are. So I would encourage you today itself, specifically, become aware of some of the events, some of the situations where you felt very uncomfortable, in distress, or anxious due to a particular obligation. And ask yourself, what could you have done to avoid that? Why this is important is because self-love and self-care is the basis of your mental health. If I do not want to be in this conversation right now because it's causing me a feeling of distress, I do not want to fight, I do not want to argue, I do not want to be in this conflict, I want to be out, not because I'm a quitter, but because I don't think it's serving me, is setting a boundary. I'm protecting my energy because it's finite. So this is super important. And if you can start setting some boundaries and consciously communicate that, verbalize that, what will start to happen? You will set the expectations right. Then people will know that if Andy is in the meeting or if Andy is working from 9 to 5, Andy's not going to pick up my personal call. Or if Andy has a certain timeline, maybe 7 to 8 in the night to return to the calls, this is Andy's boundary. People will start to expect a certain type of behavior from you. Not that, oh, I called you 2 in the noon and you never picked up my phone, you never replied to my phone, unless obviously it's an urgent thing, right? Unless they have sent you a message that there's an urgency. Setting the expectations with people. And what will that do is it will generate self-confidence. It will make you feel that you're respected. It will create a sense of self-worthiness, and you will generate tremendous amount of respect from others too. And that boosts our morale, boosts our personality. So now we'll talk. And I'm reading some of your comments here. Tanud said it's imperative to make boundaries or routines to manage your daily work. Avi said, we all know, but do not follow all of them due to some reasons. So that's what we're here to understand, right? What are those reasons? Those reasons are nothing but just the framing of our mind, because we have seen our parents never saying no. Because we have seen our families, obliging each other, compromising their own values. Don't we see that? We see that all the time. And that's what we have learned. It's just a pattern. Your whole personality right now is nothing but a learned behavior. So you can change your personality. There's no such thing called personality. It's personal reality. And I can change my personal reality whenever the hell I want to. Yes, there are certain core values that are always going to be in your systems, things that you value the most, but also recognizing if I'm compromising with those values, right? So I would love to entertain some of the questions around it, because questions are one of the most powerful ways that we can go deeper and touch upon some of the real situations that we are encountering. So anyone who wants to share their story, share their thoughts, or ask questions, you're more than welcome.
So Simi, yeah, Tom?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, my question was, how did you identify the trauma that triggered your anxiety? Was it through a professional therapist? Was it on your own? How did you do that?
Yes. I had panic attacks, consistent panic attacks. So when panic attacks happen, I don't know whether some of you are aware, but it is quite a situation to handle. Your heart palpitates, you feel like you're gonna die, you feel out of control, you're sweating, sometimes you feel like you're gonna throw up. So it's your body is going through literally a death kind of situation, but you're not dying. So panic attacks are really, really hard. So when I had 2 or 3 of those consistently, I was calling 911. They were coming 5 in the morning only to tell me there's nothing wrong, but you should see your doctor. So I went to just an endocrinologist because I also had thyroid situation. He told me that you have anxiety. And then I went to the psychiatrist and started my medication. And again, guys, I'm going to say this again, Tom, if anyone that you know or yourself have a situation where the anxiety is overpowering, it's debilitating, it is important for you or your friend or anybody that we know of to take medical help. So sometimes a psychiatrist would suggest taking some medication just to balance those chemicals that are affected in the brain for some time. And it's okay to feel, it's okay to take the medication, because when we have the sanity, when we have the control, okay, that I'm feeling better now I can put across some holistic measures, such as therapy, okay, such as meditation, such as holistic healing. But if your anxiety is so high that you can't even sleep, then nothing holistic is going to work. So for some time, we can take the medical help. I did take the medical help. I took antidepressants, which are very effective for anxiety, for about 6 months. And it really helped me feel a little more stable so that I could apply holistic measures and really understand the root cause of my anxiety. So yes, the answer is I did seek professional help.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Tom. Yeah, team, please ask more questions. Anything, ask anything.
Yes,
Shruti,
we
you
had
had a
a
question.
lovely lady asking.
Go ahead, Simi.
Now, we had a lovely lady asking some question before Tom, I guess.
Yeah, Shruti. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Simi, I have seen like these things, the tips which you've talked about, like normally people try to implement it and everything, but the thing is, the key thing is to start. So how is that? Because coming out of that state of mind and going on to these things is something, a bridge, which is, I think so, is the largest bridge which a person need to cross. So what do you suggest? And do you have any recommendations, or do you have any tips around it, that what is that a person need to do, or meet someone or something like that?
See, first of all, we need to understand that we are born, we are alive, and there's a reason behind it. Otherwise, you and I'd be dead right now. Very simple. You're alive right now. Millions of people are dying every day. Aren't they? They're dying. And that's a reality of life. I mean, right now you are alive. It's pure luck. It's your destiny. And if you call it destiny, that means you are needed right now here. If you're needed right now here, it means that your life is valuable. It means that you got to take care of yourself, because nobody else is coming to take care of you. You are your own refuge. There's nobody else who's going to come and say, I'm going to take care of you. Yes, they might say it for a while, but then they're going to get tired. So your responsibility towards yourself is your prime responsibility, whether you recognize today or not. Because if you are well, you can take care of everybody else. So if I'm not feeling well, the first thing is to recognize I'm not feeling well. And now what's the next step? Next step is, how can I make myself well? How can I make myself well? No matter whether somebody else was responsible for where you are, no matter you had a divorce, or your husband was abusive, or you had a heartbreak, or you had this stories that you keep on repeating in your mind, it's of no use. The point is, you're not feeling well. So should I keep on thinking about what happened and why I'm not feeling well, or rather I solve the situation and seek my own refuge? So first thing is to recognize that I'm alive. I think this is a bloody big thing, right? So that next step is that, okay, I have a frame of mind. Now my mindset is right, first of all. Like I'm not taking this for granted that I'm alive. I'm not taking this for granted. This is the beginning of everything. Because the moment you recognize that this life is so precious, you can't take it for granted, that means that I got to do something to make it better for myself. This could be starting out by asking yourself questions, self-reflection, being honest with yourself that I need help. And now, what do I do? Seek mentorship, buy online programs, invest in yourself, go to a therapist, join a like-minded community, join some local groups, community groups where people talk about mental health, people talk about good things. Go to temples, go to gurudwaras, go to spiritual places where you feel connected to yourself. There's so many ways you can uplift yourself. It's just about recognizing that help is available in form of professional help, in form of mentorship, in form of like-minded community. The only thing that I need to do is to break my routine and stop giving myself excuses. Oh, I'm very busy. Tell me, all of you guys, like you call yourself super busy. I call myself super busy all the time. Don't I have 45 minutes in a day to sit with myself and ask myself, how am I doing? Excuses, because we're distracted, because we're spending time on the things that are useless. We are, you know what we're doing? We are conversing with the same people, same old set of friends about the same things every day. Repetition, 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 repetition. How many times are we having new conversations with people around us? How many times you're finding a new person, a like-minded person consciously to speak with? Now we are in this bubble. We're in this small bubble and we just stay there, right? So conscious, wake up. We need to wake up. We need to ask ourselves, time is limited. Like literally, I'm 37 years old right now and I'm dying. Maybe another 30 years. I mean, that's if I'm not dying like tomorrow, I don't know, right? But I have a window of 40 years more, right? So I keep that in my mind all the time. I'm not going to waste a second. I'm going to take responsibility. I'm here. I'm needed, right? Lots of philosophy, but very practical. Trust me on that.
Oh, very
It's all
practical,
about
Simi. Very practical. Thank you
yes,
for that.
more questions. You're very welcome, Shruti. Guys,
So
I'm
Simi-
expecting lots of questions. Yes, of
So
course.
Simi,
Go ahead.
if I feel sleepless or if I feel, nervous next time, or maybe I feel scared, so how can I overcome that situation? How can I come out with that situation and feel happy and confident?
Sure, absolutely. It's a very important question. And the way this can be addressed is by first recognizing that you are not your experience. This is you. This is an experience. Right now, what happens is whenever we feel anxiety or when we feel fearful, we are like this. We're identified with it. Whenever an experience happens, we identify with that experience and we become one with it. We attach ourselves to the experience. I am fearful. I am having anxiety. I cannot sleep. So what we need to do is separate this out. I'm having an experience of anxiety. I'm having an experience of a sleepless night. It is an experience of sleepless night. It is an experience of stress. I am not stressed. You see? So what happens is when there are two things, then I know how I can take control. When it is one thing, then I'm one with it. So separation, then my experience is not me. I am the ruler of my experience. If this is an experience that is negative, it's fine. So let me now contemplate what happened that I'm having this experience. What series of things are happening in my life that are making me feel a certain way? What has happened 10 days ago, 20 days ago, a month ago? At least contemplate, right? Rather than getting zoomed in the experience, zoom out. Zoom in. Right now, when we are trying to work, we are zooming in, but then zoom out. Make this a habit every day with everything. Zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. When you zoom out, you see things from a broader perspective. Okay, I'm having a sleepless night. I'm feeling fearful. What exactly it means? It means that I'm having an experience of fear. Where is it coming from? Oh, it is coming from a past event that is now making me feel in a certain way. Okay, so what are the thoughts that are causing me this feeling? So then you start contemplating. Oh, the thought, oh, things might go wrong. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to handle this. I'm not good enough. Self-talk, right? The talk that is happening in the background. So then you at least recognize, okay, so my thought patterns are not right. If I have to feel in a certain way, I got to change this dictation. I got to change this narrative. And then there are ways to do it. You might not be able to do it yourself. You might need a little help. You might need a little therapy. You might need to get into a particular type of routine. You might need to make lifestyle changes. Those decisions are going to be then taken on the basis of how you want to feel. But only thing important is to know that you can fix it. As long as we know I can fix this light bulb that switched off, I know I can make it work because I know there's an electricity. If this is switched off, it doesn't mean that it's not going to light up again. It's just that it's broken. I got to change it. Same way, if I have a certain experience of life that is not happy experience right now, I got to change it, and I can change it. This confidence is more than enough for you to take steps and make those shifts that are necessary.
Yeah,
Thank you
Simi, I
for
would
listening.
like to add
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I would like to add a little bit of my experience here as well, from like how I handle this personally. And so I think, so one thing that I do is so having that, what you mentioned, acceptance and understanding. So understanding of the source, understanding why, and then I hope everyone can hear me. I have a little bit of internet issue with my computer, so I had to switch to my iPhone
That's
and
fine.
take this. Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah. So understanding, first of all, right? So understanding the source, then knowing what is your controllable list and what's your not, it's things that are not in your control. So if things are not under your control, as an example, like if I'm sleepless or I have this kind of overall impact, negative impact on my mental health because of Ukraine war, right? I'm watching the news every day. I'm sick, but it's not, I cannot do something to kind of really stop it, but I can help people. So stopping that war is not in my controllable, for example. But what's in my controllable is maybe, if I that understanding, that concern, that worry, that fear is that, okay, people are dying, other things are happening. Okay, how can I just kind of contribute using my controllable list? And so for our leadership team, there is a tool you should ask for, is called certainty uncertainty tool. So normally this whole anxiety and everything, it normally comes from that FUD that we talk about: fear, uncertainty, and doubt, self-doubt. And you got to be clear, and you can kind of put your uncertainties list. What are you uncertain about? What are the things that are giving you that fear, that uncertainty, that doubt, and then see, okay, can I do something from my controllable list to overcome this? So having that understanding, using some tools that we have, and then what Simi mentioned also in terms of having that zoom in, zoom out, using like a mental clarity break. We use EOS, so we use something called mental clarity. With day to day, you just have to sometimes step out of the situation. So those tools are available. Ask your managers. They can share that copy with you as well. So overall, we can always see, okay, how that professional tools can be used in our personal lives as well. Back to you, Simi.
Very powerful points. Thank you so much, Sunny. And we love your background now. And I can see there's a lot of cloud. I thought it was going to be a sunny day. Sunny day with Sunny. Awesome. All right, guys, any other questions? Anything else you want to share? Please feel free.
Hey, Simi, on your last response, it was a great gateway kind of question. At what point, and how do you identify if someone's having anxiety or, these type of symptoms? At what point is it something you address yourself versus seeking professional help? Where should people identify that line?
Once in a while, if someone is having an anxiety experience, it's perfectly normal, because we have a limbic brain, which is responsible for creating fight and flight response. And this is our most primitive brain. And the rest of the brain got developed over years. And only in the last 50,000 years, we have the front part of the brain. This is called prefrontal cortex. Because our larger part of the brain is still the emotional brain, it is normal for us to have lots and lots of emotional experiences. So sometimes some of the emotional experiences are like stress or having a feeling of anxiety and overwhelm. But as long as it is manageable and you're feeling that, oh, I can just brush it off, or I can just do some activity that is making me feel normal again. Like I'm not in the heightened state for a really long time. So when you stay in the heightened state of alert for a really long time, what starts to happen that your body starts to release, your brain starts to release a lot of chemicals that are causing you even more anxiety, cortisol chemical, and there's another one that causes adrenaline, right? Adrenaline rush. Now, some of the adrenaline rush is important for you to feel energetic, but if you are on the edge all the time, if you're feeling super anxious all the time, your body knows it, because it is going to be physiological, right? There are going to be physiological symptoms. So physiological system is like experiencing nausea before entering a meeting, experiencing that you're going to go and feel like extreme hyperventilation. You want to get out and get some fresh air, or you get agitated and angry quickly, or there's a few days went by and you couldn't sleep properly. That's a time when you need to seek professional help, because if you are even trying to, for example, meditate regularly or work out or take care of yourself in every other way, but you still feel that even while I'm taking care of my nutrition, my diet, and everything else, I still feel that lack of grounding. I still feel that my anxiety is not in control. I still feel low confidence, low energy, low drive. And yes, the most important thing that I forgot to mention, fatigue. If you feel your body hurts, your legs, arms feel weak, and you have low energy than you used to have, this is a real signal for anxiety and chronic stress. Okay, so these are the times when you definitely need to take some sort of advice. Just go to a psychiatrist or speak to your physician and tell them that, listen, this is what I'm experiencing. And should I just go further and take more help? And taking the diagnosis is always a good thing. Right now, we do have the doctors who can at least diagnose. And there's an application that I use a lot. It's called betterhelp.com. If some of you want to just do it online, there are so many different ways you can do it. Betterhelp.com is super helpful just for a small session. You pay a certain amount of money, and they're there for you to make you interact with the doctor online through a video call. So it's so much easier than ever before to take a diagnosis if there's a need.
Yeah, thank you, Simi. So I know a lot of people, in our team members, they have 9 a.m. Some client hurdles. So I see a lot of people are dropping. So we booked this time from 8 to 9. And so thank you so much, Simi. But one thing before people log out, can you think of something that you're going to take it as an action from all these insights that, a lot of valuable skills and experiences that we have talked about here. So based on what you have learned, everything is about action. So think of an action that you're going to take, that you are better managing your mental health tomorrow than today. So can you please, so everyone, please drop that line in the chat. That is one thing. And so Simi, you're about to say something?
No, I was just about to say that everybody can just drop their line in the in the chat box.
Yes.
What is it for them?
Yes. And, so this is our first session of 12. So Simi will be doing this once a month on different topics related to health. So she will be contributing to your Health by Design plan as part of Life by Design 4 life plans. And so every month you will see Simi once a month for an hour. You will get more schedule understanding. But one thing that I want to leave you with is everything that we learned today. It could be acceptance, it could be, gratitude practice, self-reflection, breath work, that overall setting our boundaries, everything. Think of one action that you're going to take in each one of these areas, which will help you progress. And it's all about habits, right? So my life changed when I started adopting Miracle Morning and Miracle Evening. So Miracle Morning has a practice, so read about it, it's real. It's all about habits, and adopt these into your daily habits so that this can really help you, this can benefit you. And Atomic Habits is the best book that if you want to even make 1% progress every single day on all these practices that we have learned from Simi, Atomic Habits is the way to really implement this and make a difference. So thank you so much, team, for joining today. And the best life coach in the world, Simi, thank you so much for coming and joining us today. And we
One last
appreciate
thing
your
I
partnership.
definitely end up with that I would really like to emphasize in just 1 minute is, guys, we feel valuable, we feel energized, we feel pumped, we feel motivated, we feel worthy when we give out, when we give. You all have something to give, whether you know right now or not. There's something, time, energy, effort, skill. Consciously, once in a month, try to give that out to somebody who's in need, even for 45 minutes to an hour. I promise you, everything is going to change in your mind because it's all about perspective. I can feel happy when I give out because I have a perspective that somebody else is not happy in the moment and I still have so much to give to them. So these are some of the things that we can just do even for like 30, 40 minutes a day. And thank you so much for joining today and participating. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you, Simi. Thank you. Be
Bye-bye.
part of Andy's program, guys. Go Givers program that we have at ITVD. So give back and be a hero to someone internally or externally. So Andy is our kind of Go Givers person in India here. So we all sites have Go Givers clubs. So be part of that. And Shruti, if you can stay on the call, and everyone, you guys have a great day. And Steve, if you guys can, if HR can stay on the call and Steve can stay on the call, everyone else, you guys have an awesome day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Thank you,
Bye,
Simi.
everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sunny.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Like
Thank you,
George,
everyone.
Scott.
Bye.
Okay, we can stop recording.